right, I'm happy being here talking about this movement around new forms of organizing and just giving some examples how that's going to look like and what are the principles that are behind it. To start at, and to give you a short info, I want to start with an example where that elderly care company called Bootsar, based in the Netherlands. They focus their energy and their purpose around giving old people their autonomy back. They really sit together, the nurses sit together with the old people, they drink coffee together, and they really connect with them and integrate their social environments, they integrate their families, they integrate their neighborhoods. They are really working in a different way, and they really run, they really change the whole way this business of elderly care works in the Netherlands. So how do they do it? They are organized in totally self-organized teams of a maximum of 12 nurses. At this point right now they have about 850 of these teams, of these self-organized and independent teams. They are totally responsible for everything, starting from finance, getting over to planning. They have their own educational budget. They just have 45 people in the back office, and they are mainly doing like bureaucracy stuff so that the nurses don't have to bother about that. They have about 15 coaches that support teams and they help setting up new teams. And when they grow over a number of 12, they probably split up and build 2 teams, and so that's the way how they grow. And they have no managers. And when you look on the numbers of this company, they started in 2007 with one team of 4 nurses. And today they have about 9,500 nurses. They're going to reach 10,000 by the end of 2015. And they have 850 teams. They care about 70,000 patients. They have a bit more than 80% of the market share of the whole elderly care business within the Netherlands. So really unbelievable fast growth. And they grow about 200 to 300 nurses per month. And just with that model of splitting up in the teams and just growing. So, and it's just one example. There are so many more other companies that work the same way and have the same idea of working behind it. And what they all have is that they don't have any bosses, and they actually don't have that classical pyramid structure of hierarchy. So what are the principles that they share? The first principle is that they have a shared purpose. And they really have some idea that everybody in the organization can connect to emotionally. So it's something that gives you a sense of why you're doing what you're doing. It's something you can connect emotionally to. It's like the other examples we heard, you were talking about that. There's something you can connect on. You know why you're doing what you're doing. And it's not about gaining money, and it's not about growth. Money is just something that helps you to have an impact on the purpose. And a purpose is something that is embedded within the society and connected to the surroundings. The second principle is the self-organizing principle. Like all these organizations are organized within teams and groups that are combined with each other. When we look in nature or in complex systems, you always find those principles of self-organizing. You found it in big cities, like the traffic of a big city is there's nobody who does it. There are combined rules that we all say, okay, that are fine for us, and within these rules we can just drive the car whenever we want and wherever we want to go to. So it's kind of self-organizing, and that are the same principles that are behind these new forms of organization. The third principle is wholeness, which says when we come to an organization, we limit our potential to some rational thinking, and we say, okay, that is the part that we can show up in the organization. All these new forms of organization, they have a much wider approach where they really invite people with their bodies, with their souls, and with their minds to contribute to the organization. So it's really important for people to flourish and to reach their fullest potential. And within these complex surrounding conditions that we have in businesses today, we need these feelings and intuition to work towards a purpose. And one way to go into that new way of organizing and that new paradigm is Holacracy, which is a social technology for organizations. And well, the backbone of Holacracy actually is a fixed set of rules. It's called the Constitution, and it's really like when you have a game or a play, you have some rules that are coming with it. And that's the same in democracy. So that's a rule set, a constitution that defines the way how to organize the work. One major issue in democracy is that as a person, I do feel different roles within the organization. And with that roles, I energize the organization's work. And these roles are really transparent for everybody, and they're clearly defined by the purpose of the role, accountabilities, and domains of that role. So there is one example, one role that I hold, it's called the Harbor Master. The purpose is a wholesome work environment for our collaboration and the accountability, scouting, contracting, developing workspace, which is fun, aesthetic, and pleasure to use. So that's actually what I'm doing when I'm within that role. So I care about our office that is right out there and just fix it and change it where we need some new stuff. So, Holacracy comes with two different standardized meeting formats that are defined in the Constitution. The one are tactical meetings, where it's about working in the organization. So it's that classical operational stuff, and it's about synchronizing between the members of the organization. The other meeting format is the governance meeting. And there it's just about working on the organization. So you constantly change the way the organization is organized. And within these governance meetings, you define roles, you define accountabilities, and you define domains. So it's constantly changing the way the organization looks like, and it's adapting to the surrounding conditions of what's happening outside. So in classical organizations, you always have that change processes within 2 years, then you have a big change, then again you have a big change. And Holacracy is really changing that because it has its own format to where you really just define the roles and you really change the organization the way it works. So this is actually what our organization looks like. Holacracy comes with a software tool where you can make it transparent, and that the green balls are just the different roles, and then we have circles that are combined within that. So that's what our organization just looks today. So maybe next week it's going to look different. So it's incrementally changing in the past. Well, we're part of Dwarfs and Giants, and what our purpose is to rewrite the future of organizations. So we really want to bring in that new way of organizing and support and help organizations that want to step into that new paradigm. Thank you.